Are you able to feel what others are feeling? Are you able to feel what they are going through? Are you able to understand them? If you can relate yourself with these kind of conditions, well, congratulations, you are empath. So today we are discussing about the empath and their empathy. What is empathy? Actually, in general, if we try to understand, it is our feeling for other. It's how we feel about other. We want to do something and we take some action. We take some action to help the other person when they are going through something, some tough time or something, when they require some other person's support. So that time, if we are going for our help while wordly as well and with action, so that is called our empathy. So there is very link between the sympathy and empathy. So when we are talking about sympathy, it's just a wordly condolence. There is no action. It's just our wordly support, right? But when we are talking about empathy, empathy means it's not just a wordly support. You are taking some action to help the other person, to bring out a pain or the suffering, or even in any kind of situation when they need someone, right? And the empath, when you are talking about, empath are the most beautiful soul on this earth. If you try to understand these persons, because they can feel other, they can experience others emotions or whatever they are going through, they can understand any single person. So when these kind of qualities are with someone, so definitely they are like divine soul on earth, right? So if you try to understand some quality or some struggles what these empaths are facing or what they go through normally in day-to-day life, first, they can feel the pain or the suffering of other. Well, we all see that people are going through pain, they are suffering through something, they are going through tough time, but everyone can't link themselves with the other person's pain or the suffering, right? But empaths are those kind of persons who can feel the other's pain as their pain, who can feel the other's suffering as their suffering. So in this full scenario, what happens over here, that majority of the time they are just involved in the other's feeling, other's emotion. So they don't have time to think about themselves. So over here they neglect, or they literally don't have time to think about themselves, as they are busy behind thinking about other or thinking or feeling about other, right? So over here they neglect or they ignore totally their emotions and they indulge themselves totally with other person, right? So if you try to understand, so empath also have a quality. They cannot say no to anyone, because if they will say no to someone, so they can feel that the other person is not satisfied with their response. So if the other person is not satisfied with their response, so they can't live peacefully, because they are the person who can't see anyone in pain. So it's a double-edged sword, but still hanging on their head only. And they don't find alone time for themselves, because they are busy behind always other persons are just asking for help, or they are always feeling about other, constantly thinking about others. So they literally don't get a peace of mind. They don't get a alone time to think happily, or to take time for themselves, take time for their peace, right? So when these kind of things, these are their basic problems they face. Normally this is a quality of empathy is a quality, but they face these kind of problems while they are being empath. So as empaths are very busy behind the understanding other or solving others a problem, so they hardly have alone time to think or alone time to feel the peace of mind, right? Because they are always constantly thinking about other, or either they are doing about something for other. So in these kind of situations, what happens, they don't get that enough free time for themselves to repair or to think about themselves, alone time for themselves. So what happens, they don't get peace of mind. So they are always constantly thinking only, right? And sometimes what happens, so whom they are helping, those person tend to rely on these empaths, or sometimes they start using them, because as they can't say no whatever they ask, so the other person take the help as for granted. They don't understand the other person is kind enough to say no, but they just are using, because every person on earth is not with same mentality, is not with same emotions, same understanding, right? There are some persons who don't understand these all morality or all short of understanding. They just know how to take, and they use other, they know how to use other. So empaths are, it's a scene that majority of the empaths are being used sometime, and sometimes they get overly used, right? And when we say so, there was the, as already explained, that these empaths, they don't have time for their own self, they don't get the enough free time for themselves. And when they are feeling pain about, and they are suffering the pain about other, so they are majority of the time sad in themselves, because they are seeing always the pain of the people. Happiness hardly they, because they are not too much interested in others happiness, others joy. They are interested in others pain. They feel that that painful, the sorrowness of other, which makes them feel the same way. And as majority of the time they are going through these kind of emotions, so they hardly get a happy emotion, or they hardly get time to stay happy, right? And because their emotions, as I said, they are the like house of emotions. They can understand each and every single emotions, but these painful emotion, these emotion of sorrow is something what they can't ignore, right? So I'm sure you got a little understanding about the empaths, because empaths, they are, as I said, they are the most beautiful soul on this earth. We shall be lucky if there is some empath around us, if we are also having some quality of empaths, or if, because empaths, when we say so, there are also stages of empathy, because you might be having little empathy, you might be having at middle level, or sometimes you might be the supreme empath or the highest empath. Because the more you think about other, the more you are into doing others, solving others problems, so your level also changes with this dimension, this scale, right? So I'm sure you are empath. If you are not, so nurture this quality, it's a very beautiful quality. And whoever empaths you see around, so take their help then only when it's necessary, and if it is possible, so lend some help to them as well, because they need others help. Because when someone is doing too much for others, so they don't have enough time for themselves, so they also need someone's support, they also need someone's care, right? So with this video, I believe that today you got a little understanding about their empaths and their empathy. So you might be having a clear understanding about that, how empaths are, and in what way they can say no, yes, or in how they react normally, right? So if this video was a little helpful, so feel free to subscribe, and I'm sure you did by now. If you did not do, still probably due to some reason, so I don't understand that. So please at least mention in comment section what's the reason you did not like this video, or the way how I put things, right? So if you did, thank you for that. So by then, please take care, and yes, always look after these qualities or empathy in someone who are surrounding you. If you have, so please protect them, and whoever empaths you see around, so help them.